it's Rachel back with another video here on Live Study Hacks. And today we have a very special video about emotional intelligence. Mastering this skill can bring so much to your life. Really knowing how to work with other people either at school or at work through the most challenging circumstances is the key to emotional intelligence. And it doesn't stop there. It allows you to make even your greatest imaginations be converted into reality. But developing this skill is not easy. Like, I remember someone telling me, positive matters just do not come on a silver platter. So in order to learn emotional intelligence, you have to go through bad circumstances in your social life, whether it may be with your family members or your closest friends. With the numerous challenges that life throws at you, Life Study Hackers, your response determines your emotional quotient. To give you all a simplistic definition, emotional intelligence is defined by how you learn to recognize, progress, and channel feelings that are most positive and fulfilling. I know for us teenagers that it may seem super hard, and I'm going to speak to you all that I have struggled with this so many times. You do something thinking that will see a better outcome, the most positive outcome, but it turns out to be horrible. And after that, you feel so embarrassed that you do not want anyone to see you. And you just want to be isolated from the world. You know, guys, you are not alone. There are so many people who struggle with this. But with emotional intelligence, you can look at these moments that bring you the most distress and change it to one that gives you great joy. This may seem very difficult and almost impossible, but never fear. It can be achieved with sustained practice. Letting go of your first knowledge on feelings and really interpreting it and looking inside of you and really channeling these emotions. But before we start, just a reminder to help support our channel and a charity we are donating to, Children of Incarcerated Parents. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video. More information is on my website link down below. So let's get on to this video. The first step in developing your emotional intelligence is to try to understand yourself. You might think that you know yourself pretty well, but to hate to break it to you, you do not. Referring to the Disney movie that is related to psychology, Inside Out, we have 5 basic emotions: joy, fear, panic, anger, and disgust. But these emotions have hidden meanings that are almost invisible, and you might think that it is the environment that is causing these emotions for you, and you may be 50% right. But let me tell you that you doing something, it might mean something else. For example, you might get angry at someone, but because you were not able to get hired for your dream job. Your anger is actually you being upset. So it really comes down to really understanding the hidden meaning behind your emotions. Even though it may seem difficult, knowing that root cause of your emotions allows you to know your strengths and weaknesses, further allowing yourself to give constructive feedback and improve. Aiding on to the many benefits of understanding emotions, your emotional blind spot becomes more clearer, and it gives you the opportunity to respond to them and have better relationships with people around you, just to simply feel better about yourself. Anxiety and depression are 2 of the main things that are prominent in high schoolers and middle schoolers. The American College of Health has done a study, and it said that in 2015, 50% of undergraduates suffered from anxiety, and that number has gone up to 62%. And so really just knowing that this is a growing problem, and adding even further that these numbers are doubling for numbers are doubling for suicide tensions. We're too afraid to open up, and each day anxiety is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger for us. And we just need to step back from all of this from all this like building tension and stress, and come down to really to these unmanageable emotions and ask ourselves, where is it coming from, and keep track of these. And what am I feeling? When did I start feeling that way? What caused this feeling? For example, you being anxious can be seen as your palms getting sweaty. Frustration can be seen as when your like heat rushes towards your forehead. And journal them and like truly understand what causes these emotions, what happens to you when these kind of emotions happen. And by meditation is another good way and to really like relieve this, and going for walks, because research has shown that walking activates your cerebral blood flow and helps with clarity, and drinking water and practicing good hygiene allows you to have a more positive mindset when talking about emotional intelligence. To end this tip with a happy note, there is a clip from the Seinfeld show that said when George decides to change things for once and move on in life, and he achieves a lot and feels happy just speaking his mind out and saying the opposite at the end, he gets hired to work alongside the Yankees. So believe in yourself, guys, and you can control simple reactions from the environment. You can control them for yourself. The next step is to know what type of responses you will give in certain circumstances. Learn what triggers you. Recognize these emotions. For example, think about it in two ways. For example, there are two people. One person goes through a bad experience. Let's just say they get a bad grade. She sees the world black and white and gets anxious. She deprives herself of sleep, and her yellow optimism turns into complete darkness. She hates compassion and goes into a dark room and locks herself from life. Another person, however, gets a bad grade, but before emotion gets a hold of herself, she stops and breathes. Positive thoughts start to cloud her mind, and she starts reflecting on her tests. These immediate stress waves soon gets replaced to ones that are self-made. She finds this new confidence, and when it comes to the next test, she gets a B. Her effort is correlated with success. These lowest points allows her to bounce back. Her rationality overcomes the emotional rain. This is what I call the definition of fine-tuning and having a high emotional quotient, not letting the established mindset of being a failure and that bad grade limit you, and learn the new concepts toward success. The ultimate ability of accepting these personal responsibilities and experiencing these new cultures helps stimulate neurons and establish these new profound connections. Increasing your emotional intelligence involves connecting with other people and empathizing with them. For example, your best friend Casey comes up and you think she hates you but she really is going through comes up and she doesn't really make eye contact, and that kind of makes you feel like, oh, she hates me. But that probably means that she's going through a bad circumstance. Our brains tend to come up with the worst case scenario because pain is just easier to accept. We like to poison our own well-being and think it's always the other person's issue. But we must see that things from other people's perspective, and we can be those few people that can motivate and engage with others. We can ask open questions and listen. We can use body language for comforting people, and pay attention to the other person's body language. While Casey talks about isolating and spilling her problems, we can turn the worst experiences to ultimate good ones. That is important to be there, and it's ultimately important to be there for other people. In general. In my psychology class in school, we watched the movie Pay It Forward, and there was a girl in Oregon who was about to fall off a bridge, and there was then a guy who told her to stop and asked her to get off and get coffee with him. She felt much better. So if you say the right things, it really benefits people who need it. Remember, when you're talking to people, call them by their name as much as possible because it's good, and it's a really fun way for people to like you. My last and final tip is to go with your gut. Listen to your body. We're often crushed with failure, but be resilient and go with your gut. No second thoughts. And if you fail, do not get so worked up about it. During this time, it's important to save your happiness. Happiness is like the weather, and it can be overlooked sometimes, but it's important because it can allow us to get through times in which we really need it. Some tips in order to be happy is to foster gratitude, play with dogs, or have a conversation. Your life is like a heart monitor. It can go high and it can go low. And that means you are alive and your heart is beating and you're enjoying life. But if life is like a straight line, that means you'll never be able to reach your maximum potential. And your story, as a result, will be dead. So go with your gut and do things that are really fun. Live life to the fullest. Well, thanks for watching this video. I really hope you found this video helpful. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I hope you learned something about emotional intelligence, and it's really one of the many keys to success. It brings social awareness, creativity, leadership, better academics, and reduces whatever anxiety and stress you may have. If you can schedule an emotional intelligence session or simply watch some more videos about emotional intelligence, imagine how far you can get in life and imagine what a better society we could have. So I see you guys all next time. Bye.